11 years ago, a teacher in Chicago public schools changed my career. I was working at Northwestern, organizing science outreach activities the way that scientists often do, giving short talks and entertaining students in a Northwestern research lab. Near the end of one of these visits, I pulled the teacher aside and I asked a very simple question. Did this visit really make a difference? Of course, right away he said yes, but when I pressed him for an honest answer, he opened up. He told me, it doesn't make a difference in the way that you hope. Really making a difference means providing kids with role models, with mentors, and with long-term experiences that build skills. Kids are super excited to come to Northwestern, but inspiration only takes you so far. When my kids get back to their community, not much has changed. This was a message I was not fully prepared to hear. But upon reflection, and it was a very short reflection, the teacher was 100% right. A 2-hour spark in a Northwestern research lab wasn't nearly enough. I knew very little about the challenges that youth and families face every day in their neighborhoods. I was the one who needed to make a change. I had a big problem though. In my 10 years of formal training as a chemist, as a biochemist, there was literally nothing that would equip me to be a community-focused science educator. So for me, it was time to go back to school, or in this case, to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago.
11 years ago, we were having plenty of internal conversations about what more we could do to improve the outcomes of the young people of our city. You see, the Boys and Girls Club of Chicago isn't just an after-school program. The clubs are life-saving, life-changing, and provide lifelong lessons that go far beyond our doors. Each year, we inspire more than 18,000 young people to dream big about their future. But one of the things that's core to our mission is cultivating a sense of belonging as members, as learners, as citizens. And sometimes it's a lot easier to build that sense of belonging within the walls of our club than it is to help our young people find that sense of belonging out in the world. So 11 years ago, we were stymied by our lack of resources and quite frankly, by our lack of expertise in certain academic areas. We were thinking about STEM, but we needed a partner. So that phone call from Mike was heaven sent. I'm not even sure if scientists believe in those types of things, but it sure feels like that's me looking back on it today.
The feeling was mutual. Not long after I connected with the clubs, elementary teachers from a local school joined our group. They brought educational experience and a direct connection to classroom. Together, we started a journey. One of the first questions that we had to answer was on which age group would we focus? Newly published research at the time was indicating that students' interest in science declines precipitously during the middle school years, grades 5 through 8. However, if students graduate from 8th grade with a sense of belonging in science, the odds are 2 to 3 times higher that they will end up working in a science-related career.
We know from research and years of working with young people that a sense of belonging has a particularly dramatic effect on student achievement. Oftentimes, the young people that are in our programs don't feel like they belong in certain education spaces or even in certain career fields altogether. We see that in the scientific workforce and other professions as well. Thus, creating a sense of belonging in science became our first program goal.
Our second goal was driven by teachers. As educational experts, they were in the best position to tell us what wasn't working and where there was opportunity. What they shared was that curricula of the day were extremely content heavy, without enough emphasis on the actual practice of science, designing experiments, analyzing data, thinking critically, and working collaboratively. This was a space in which Northwestern was ideally positioned to help. We have lots of science students and staff who could work long-term with kids to mentor, to build these skills. But again, there was an issue. The same training problem that I had also faced all of our students. In fact, more than 40% of scientists are not engaged in their communities. 2 of the top reasons: no training and not being sure how to get involved. We will never achieve our goals of equity in science education and a diverse scientific workforce unless we can remove these barriers. So, training our scientist mentors was our third goal.
The beauty of the partnership that formed was that all of our skills were complementary and synergistic. We were creating an educational ecosystem where each one of us played a critical role. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago knows youth development in the after-school space, and teachers know students' instructional needs and can coach scientists on how to build curriculum. And Northwestern, of course, has a scientific workforce and a really strong interest in creating experiential learning experiences for its students.
Our final question was what to call this skill and mentor-based program. So we asked the kids. They said it's science, and they said it's in a Boys and Girls Club, so how about Science Club? When you put all the pieces together, you get something that looks like this.
Science Club is an amazing program that teaches me about science that I go to every week after school at the McCormick Boys and Girls Club. My mentors are Jen and Sarah, and it's really cool because they're scientists from Northwestern University. Science Club means almost everything to me because it helps me out in different ways, even outside of Science Club, because I take the things I learned from Science Club into my everyday life and even at school. So it's very important. We're all scientists in Science Club.
What Science Club inspired me to do is to work harder.
Science Club has inspired me to do more science outside of school.
Science Club has inspired me to be creative.
Science Club has definitely helped prepare me for college.
Science Club helped me get a $308,000 scholarship to the Latin School of Chicago.
Because of Science Club, I want to become a biomedical engineer.
I want to become a doctor. When I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian.
I want to be a neurosurgeon.
I am a Science Club member.
Science Club's educational model is deceptively simple. It's 2 scientist mentors working with 4 kids as a collaborative team. Each week throughout the academic year, for 90 minutes, often more, they dig deep into skill-building authentic challenges, engineering clean water solutions, or unlocking medical mysteries. Each Science Club session takes place in a laboratory that we built at each of our Boys and Girls Club sites. These are real labs. Our mentors tell me that they could even do some of their research in these spaces. Having laboratories in a Boys and Girls Club setting, a place that kids call their second home, is an incredibly powerful driver of identity and of belonging.
This spring is our 10th year of Science Club. Over the last decade, we've worked with over 500 kids and 220 mentors. We're proud in so many ways, particularly of the deep impact that our external evaluators see in the data analyses of our program. However, creating identity and a sense of belonging in Science Club begins with one simple metric: our kids showing up. The way our clubs are designed, kids vote with their feet, but I can tell you, the kids of Science Club are excited to be there, and the average time of participation in our program is approaching nearly 2 full years. When you see Science Club in action, you can immediately tell that the kids and the mentors feel like they belong.
Our hope was that a stronger sense of belonging for the kids would translate into stronger science skills. In collaboration with our teachers and our external evaluators, we devised interview-based skills assessments. We've given these assessments to more than 600 kids, Science Club in control, and our data analyses are rigorous. They account for entering student aptitude across the range, gender, age, even school attended. The results are pretty dramatic. What we're seeing is large skill increases across the aptitude range. Kids who came to us struggling in science, once they've been with us for a year, perform as middle-achieving students do. Our middle-achieving science clubbers move into the high category, and our high-achieving science clubbers perform as if there's an extra high category. Science Club is a program that works for all students equally.
This impact is also long-term, well beyond 8th grade graduation. Many of the kids in the program stay connected to their club staff, to their teachers, and to their mentors all through high school and even into college. Science Club is also expanding the types of careers and majors that our young people are choosing. At our Peterson McCormick Club, the interest in STEM careers has grown exponentially. 10 years ago, only a tiny fraction of our graduating kids were choosing STEM. Today, well over 30% of the kids that are graduating from high school today are entering into STEM career paths. While these outcomes are fantastic, one of the things that's really important is to understand that Science Club isn't about turning kids into scientists. It's about giving them the skills to problem solve and investigate. These critical thinking skills work for all kids, all the time. And so when we think about Science Club, we know that it's going to be something that any one of our kids can use for any path that they might be on.
We'd like to share a couple of examples. This is Laura. She snuck into Science Club a little bit early as a 4th grader and was with us for 5 years. Her interest in science wasn't consistent, though. In fact, about midway through, she took a quarter off. What she tells me brought her back to Science Club was our sense of community and the idea that learning how to figure things out was actually pretty useful. In high school, her interest in science grew. She hung around Science Club a lot. She volunteered with the younger kids. She brought homework in. She stayed connected. As a junior in high school, she received a summer internship here at Northwestern in the Material Science Department doing research. And I'm happy to report that just this week, she finished her freshman year at the University of Michigan on a full-ride scholarship studying engineering.
This is Sandy, who you saw earlier in the video. Sandy joined Science Club in 7th grade. Her family's from Vietnam, and she's first-generation American. Now, with Sandy, one of the things that's really important to understand about her is that all of the Science Club family, our club staff, the mentors, her teachers, all worked with her and her mom to help her figure out the high-stakes decisions around where she'd go to high school and eventually college. I'm happy to report that Sandy is now on a full-ride scholarship out in Occidental College in Los Angeles, studying public policy. Sandy says, although I don't intend to major in STEM, the skills and tools I learned in Science Club are invaluable. Science Club helped me see my own brilliance and helped push me toward my goals.
Seeing our Science Club kids, now adults, realize their career aspirations is incredibly rewarding. But what about those scientists we set out to train? Well, here, I'm happy to report that our outcomes are equally impressive to those of our kids. Scientists who are part of Science Club learn a variety of career and community relevant skills. These are skills that aren't traditionally taught as part of scientific training. This is Tamikia. She was a postdoctoral fellow in our chemistry department and a Science Club mentor for 4 years. She's now an assistant professor at Dillard University in New Orleans, working to start a Science Club of her own. Even as a busy assistant professor, she's setting aside time in her day to connect with community and teachers to build a program that meets their needs. In total, there are more than 150 scientists now across the country putting these skills to work in their communities, in areas such as academia, industry, and even our federal government working to promote evidence-based policymaking.
Not only is Science Club changing our kids and our mentors, it's changing and transforming our organization. This is the cover of our latest annual report. An organization that may erroneously be seen as just a gym and swim is now thinking about science first. All of our clubs, those with labs and those without, see themselves as hubs of science activity. This is something that was unheard of just a decade ago.
What started as 3 partners has now developed into a network of 10 entities working across Evanston, Chicago, 3 universities, supplying mentors and even industry. And what started as a cold call to the Boys and Girls Club volunteer hotline has developed into a network of more than 50 professionals across youth development, education, higher ed, science, you name it. All of us united in a common belief that belonging in science matters.
The power of this journey is that Science Club isn't just science-centric. We're teaching young people the skills that they need and it can translate to any major and help a kid along any path.
We invite all of you. No, we challenge you. Get connected. Don't be afraid to ask your partners the difficult questions and be prepared for difficult answers. I certainly wasn't expecting the answer I received 11 years ago, but look where it's led.
In my 25 years of youth development, I can honestly tell you we've never built a program like Science Club before. And it's the relationships between our organization, between the kids and their mentors, between our staff and the volunteers that make it all happen. Each and every one of us has an opportunity to build deep, responsive partnerships in neighborhoods all across the nation, because helping our country's youth is a space where each and every one of us belong. Thank you.